Hello guys, welcome back, hope you're all doing very good. Now today I've got my first ever Orc game for you guys. I've got the power of the war surging through my veins and I knew I just had to pick the Orcs. So I'm up against Ovarb here and his Norscan tribes. Let's have a little look at what I've picked. So I've gone for a front line of savage Orcs. I've got quite a lot of them here, all with one chevron. These guys are pretty damn cool. So they do have damage dealer, frenzy, war paint for a little bit of resistance. My idea behind these guys was that I should be able to tear up most Marauders. I wasn't sure what, was kind of the popular pick in this build, but if my opponent brings basic Marauders, just trying to have mass troops to equal, the mass numbers Orcs can often bring, these guys should be able to tear them apart. I was thinking, well, they'll probably do a decent amount of damage against Berserkers, even though they take a lot back. But they should be, overall do pretty damn good against Norscan infantry. So I've gone for a long line of those guys. Now, in the back here, I do have two Doom Diver catapults. These are really awesome. They fling little goblins who actually auto-aim a little bit. They've got these little wings. As we see them being launched into the air there, they're going to fly and crash into the enemy. I brought two of these just to force the opponent into me. I know Norsca don't have the best range, and they've got some quite squishy troops. A lot of their infantry is light armoured, so hoping these guys do a decent amount of damage. Now for my lord, I did go for the one and only Grimgor Ironhide. I know he's a bit of a meme, but, Grimgor's the best. That's just what it is, so I have to pick him. His armour's, armour piercing, melee expert. He's a little bit of joke in multiplayer, not very competitive, but I wanted to bring him anyway. He does have a unit of Blackhawks as bodyguards. I had a few points left over, and these guys are just pretty hardcore. Good armor piercing, so they're even fairly decent against the big monsters. They're not designed for it, but they do a lot of damage against pretty much any target. Now on the flanks, I do have up here a Forest Goblins, Spider Rider Archers. They're just here to do a little bit of harass, use their poison to weaken and slow people down. I've got a Goblin Shaman over here, a little Night Goblin one. He's got a few spells on him. Let's see what he has. So he does have Curse of the Bad Moon, which is, a big Vortex spell that pops down. Not Vortex, what's it called? It is Vortex, I believe. It drops down and kind of moves around a little bit. He's also got Itchy Nuisance, just to make the opponents a little bit weaker. And Vindictive Glare, just to fire off some shots at any big targets or enemy lords. And over on the other flank, I have Savage Orc Boar Boy Biggins. That's such a mouthful to say every time. These guys are anti-large. I was a bit worried I didn't have enough anti-large, so chuck these guys in at the end. They should be doing pretty good. Now my opponent does have two Norscan Warhounds on either flank, here and here, just hidden in the trees. I didn't spot them actually, so it's quite good play here, using the trees to his advantage. He does have a front line of Marauders with great weapons. I was pretty surprised when I saw these guys, but I assume maybe the Orcs are quite popular in this build with bringing mass Black Orcs, which are really good at taking down, Norscan infantry. And these guys are trade really effective, upwards. They're not as expensive Black Orcs, but the great weapons would be great again through that thick armour. He's got for a full front line of those guys. In the back, he does have two units of Marauder Hunters. I use these guys in my Norscan build. I like them quite a lot. Throwing Axemen, also pretty decent in combat. He's got the Regiment Renowned Familiar Warriors in the back, the Mist Stalkers, although I do believe my opponent leaves them behind, at least for part of the battle. It's a little bit of a mistake. For his lord, he does have Wulfric the Wanderer. They're sitting down on his bigger throne. He's got two little drums there, and he's going to be on his Mammoth. And he's going to be accompanied by the Soul Crusher, the Regiment Renowned War Mammoth. These guys are probably very good picks against Orcs, I can imagine. Obviously, I haven't played Orcs much at all. It's my first game. But from what I've seen, Orcs have very poor leadership. These guys will be able to get there and tear out them quite easily, especially if my lord gets taken down. Which at least Grimgor, for all the kind of joke that he is, he's at least a little bit tanky to take down. So let's see how this goes. So already you can see I'm doing a little bit of poke damage to these goblins, being thrown through the air here. Such a little animation. As he does go crashing in, hopefully, there he is. His Marauders, as you can see, they're light armoured, but does a pretty decent amount of damage. The spiders are being chased down by the hounds, but these Savage Orcs are going to detach and start, trying to save these guys, who will be poisoning these hounds and slowing them down. On the left flank, I think, seen these Norscan Warhounds. I'm pulling back just to time off formation a little bit. These guys will be engaging with the hounds on the left flank. Now, I've moved my front line up just to give a little bit of distance for these Doom Divers. If my opponent breaks through straight away, they can't just hop on them instantly. Nice Vindictive Glare, they're going into Wulfric, and the war has been popped. So these guys are going to be charging into the front line. Savage Orcs just launching themselves straight into these Marauders, and with the war pops, doing a huge amount of damage across the board. These Marauders get particularly getting wrecked, but they're also being hit by the Doom Diver Catapult. Ragnarok Spider, being anti-large, goes straight after Wulfric and does some great damage. Black Orcs have been charging as well. Oh no, they're sitting back here for now. What's this? Oh, we've got some Savage Orcs charging there. Black Orcs just sitting back, surveying the scene, watching Grimgor, the biggest and the baddest Orc, get in there and do the real damage. And that's going pretty good. I'm surprised at how well these Savage Orcs are doing. They're actually tearing these Marauders apart, especially with the war, which really helps. You can see a big bad moon has been dropped on top of these more hunters and is tearing them apart. It's actually a really sick animation here. I'm not sure how competitive this spell is. I haven't seen it too much used online, but it just looks so cool. It did a decent amount of damage there. The Savage Orcs have broken through the right hand flank, are going to be hopping on these more hunters. The Ragnarok Queen has taken a ton of damage now against the Soul Crusher, but done a little bit in return. Is unfortunately getting a little bit too one there. These Savage Orc 4-boy Biggins over here are hunting down on these Norscan hounds. However, a couple of hounds did get onto my Doomdiver catapults, but these Savage Orcs should be able to clear them up fairly well. Unfortunately, the Ragnarok Spider, sorry, not the Queen, is running away. I wish I could take the Ragnarok Queen, but I don't have the DLC yet, so I'm stuck with the basic one. In the back, I've kind of got some Savage Orcs running rampant here, chasing down units and running them off. I don't want to chase too far, though, otherwise I might end up popping into these Miststalkers, so it's kind of really out of the battle. I don't really want to get them involved. Black Orcs have piled in now. They've come to protect their Lord Grimgor, who's getting a little bit of a debuff here. However, he's pretty tanky, and the Black Orcs, as I said, pre-battle, they've got a lot of armor piercings. They should be able to, cut into these mammoths fairly nicely. The left flank has now been secured, and these guys are going to be coming across to, blobbing on this middle right here. The back line is kind of a complete disaster for my opponent. A couple of these units have shattered and chasing down these last hunters over here. Now the 4-boy Biggins should be over here. They're hunting down the Norscan hounds. Not the best use of them this game. They've been chasing off targets they're not really needed on. They're going to start heading their way back to attack these big targets. Spiders are coming in. They're going to be poisoning Wulfric, bringing down his stats a little bit. And Grimgor's actually done pretty damn good here. I'm pretty impressed. Grimgor up with the Black Orcs. I've really managed to chunk down Wulfric, and now he's being poisoned as well. He's not long for this well. My poor little Night Goblin Shaman is being chased off by the Soul Crusher. However, Wulfric does just about go down here, and my opponent does concede, knowing that his last mammoth is almost certainly going to shatter. So very well played to my opponent there. Very fun game for my first ever Orc battle. Let's go to the end stats. So overall, really fun game. I really enjoyed the Orcs. I really enjoyed them lore-wise. I did once do a campaign with them on Total Warhammer 1 on my friend's laptop, and they're really fun to play. They're quite hit and miss. If they do like to run away quite a lot. I tend to do better with the the lizard men factions who kind of are quite elite and don't run away. But this was a good different type of player. I really enjoyed it. So overall, Grimgor didn't get any kills. I was actually fairly impressed with him though. He managed to stand up to Wulfric fairly comfortably, do a ton of damage back, lead his Black Orcs in there, who also got no kills. However, they did a ton of damage, to these big targets, Wulfric and the Soul Crusher. Now, the real MVPs for me were these Savage Orcs. They did very good, especially when the war was popped. They just tore apart these Marauder with great weapons, completely flattened my opponent's front line. I was really managed to get on these Marauder hunters afterwards and shut them down. They didn't end up doing too much. Doomdivers worked pretty well. 37 and 48 kills is pretty damn respectable, and they did force my opponent in. That's what they were kind of there for. Now the Biggins, they got 80 kills, but they were all just on Norscan hounds. However, someone had to get rid of them, so they still did their job, and they would have come out at the end and actually got on these big targets they want to get on, as they are anti-large. Ragnarok Spider did great, huge amount of damage, and held up those two big mammoths. The rest of my army picked his apart. So overall, very happy with the build. Very well played to Ovar up here with his Norskins. I also like his build. If I'd gone Black Hawk heavy, I think his build would have been very good. These guys would have done a ton of damage to them. Norscan hounds, chase down any goblins I would have brought in support. The one obviously big mistake he made was leaving the Miststalkers out of it. However, in the end, I did have quite a lot of health off of most of my units. So I'm not sure if they would have made too much of a difference, but you never know. So yeah, guys, hopefully you enjoyed that first ever Orc build. You'll definitely be seeing a lot more again of the Orcs, and I'll see you guys soon. So if you guys, do enjoy the content that you just saw, please do leave a like and subscribe, or just leave a comment. I'm always free to chat with people. And if you do want to support the channel in any other way, down in the description I do have a Patreon page. Just click on there and you can support that way. Alright guys, peace, see you next time.